Hello friends, a very good afternoon to all of you. I hope I'm clearly visible and audible to each and every one of you. Can you please confirm so that we can begin this session? So anyone who is present in this session at like right now, can you please confirm by writing anything in the chat box if I'm clearly visible and audible? And I'll be beginning with this session. All right, Daksh, good afternoon. Good to see you once again in this session. So friends, a very warm welcome to all of you once again on the YouTube channel of Career Launcher. Now herein on this channel in this session, I'll continue with the series that I have started in the last week in which we are discussing some of the basic sets of data interpretation. Now, this series of sessions, the basics of data interpretation, as you already know the name of this series, the basic sets of data interpretation. Now, this series is meant for all the students who are preparing for CAT examination as well as other management entrance examinations like Narsimunji, Symbiosis, MHCT, and so on and so forth. Now, the reason why I'm saying that this session is important for the students who are especially preparing for non-CAT examinations because of the level of difficulty, because of the fundamentals, the concepts that I'll be covering in this session. Okay. Now, in this series of sessions, which is specially designed for all the students who are average or below average in data interpretation, who are not so strong with the calculations and they want to work on their fundamentals. They want to work on their foundation. So these sessions are specially designed for those students. All right. So if you are not so good in data interpretation, if you are not so good in calculations, then watching all these sessions from the very beginning will help you in preparing. Like it will help you like to prepare to overall prepare for data interpretation, right? So this is one complete solution for all the students who want to make their data interpretation skills stronger. All right, fine. Now, in the previous two sessions, we have discussed very basic sets. Okay, in the first session, I have given you an idea about the different forms in which the data can be available to us, right? And then we have solved different type of questions based on that. In the second session, we have taken two sets in which in the first set there were questions related to line graph, and in the second set there were questions related to bar graphs. The overall level of difficulty of questions were below average, right? Now today in this session, I will raise the level of difficulty a little bit. Okay, so the level of difficulty will be first of all in the calculations that will be involved, and secondly it will be in the type of questions that will be asked after the directions are over. All right, so let's start solving these questions one by one. So in today's session, again I'll be taking on two different set of questions in which the data will be given in the form of table. Okay, so understand one thing that if the data is given in the form of table or bar graph or line chart, it does not matter at all. The level of difficulty lies in the questions that will follow. Okay, so tabular data agar given hai, I can make easy questions, I can make average level of difficulty questions, I can also make very high level of difficulty questions on the same data. Fine. So it totally depends on the type of questions, the calculations involved in those questions. Okay. And these are the things that decides the level of difficulty. Okay. So today, like I said that I will raise the level of difficulty a little bit. So let's have a look at the first set out of the two sets that we are going to discuss in today's session. Right? So all of you, those who are present in the session, are you all ready to solve these questions? Quickly give me a yes or no. Show me that you are present in the session, both physically as well as mentally. So come on, if you want me to start, quickly tell me yes or no. I just want to see the name of all the students who are present right now. So Shubhra, welcome once again. Kasak, Daksh. All right. So we shall begin. So the data related to the first set on your screen. So analyze the given data properly. Post done in the chat box once you are done reading this data, once you are done understanding this data, and then I will take you to the questions one by one. So the table that you can see will be given on every screen. Okay. And I will also copy the below mentioned data, 3 lines, points A, B, and C on every screen. Tell me done if you are done reading this data, and then I'll take you to the questions. I'll give you, I would like to give you 2 minutes so that you can like convert these percentages into numbers. Okay. So it's better to convert these percentages into numbers. All right. All right. Shall we look at the questions? Are you all ready? Okay. Shubhra says yes. Anyone else? Okay. Now I will display the first question. The information that is given on this screen will be available for the question as well. So let's have a look at the first question. After I get the answer of this question, I will discuss the basic things which are related to this set, basic things which are related to the calculations of this set. Okay. So the first question, what is the average of the vacant seats of buses Q, R, and S together? What is the average of the vacant seats? I must tell you that in every class, in every session, you will learn a new thing. Okay, at least one new thing you will learn in every session. So today we will deal with how to basically handle these percentage calculations. Okay. So any answer for this one? What is the average of the vacant seats of buses Q, R, and S together? Now, to do the initial calculations, you might take some time. Okay, so fill in all the missing values in this table. Calculate the number of seats which are filled as well as the number of seats which are vacant for all the 5 buses. And then it will be very easy for you to answer the remaining questions. So you can work on numbers. You can take 2 or 3 minutes extra for that. That will make things easy for the subsequent questions. So yes, any answer for this one? All right. Now I'll go back to these calculations. So all of you now be careful and be attentive and listen to whatever I'm saying. Okay, now let's try to make these calculations easy. Now the data that is given to us is the table given below shows the number of seats of 5 buses P, Q, R, S and T and the percentage of seats that are filled out of the total seats in the buses. So for bus P, the total number of seats is 135, okay, out of which some percentage of seats are already filled and hence the remaining seats will be vacant. A similar manner, in similar manner, the data is given for Q and R, but for S and T, the number of seats is not given, okay. So let us first of all convert these percentage values in terms of numbers. So I'll calculate the number of seats which are filled and the number of seats which are vacant in all these buses using whatever data we have on the screen. Okay. So I want it from each and every one of you. Can you tell me this particular thing for bus P? Bus P, what is the number of seats filled and what is the number of seats vacant? Can you write these two numbers? Come on, those who have done the calculations, quickly write these numbers. Now, if I talk about percentages and their equivalent fractions, the students who have attended the basic lectures of percentages in whatever institute you are studying, if you have attended the basic lectures of percentages, or there are some students who are present in this session, who are my students in Career Launcher in the online batches that I'm teaching. So one very important thing, Daksh, Kasak, very good. So one very important thing that you must be knowing in percentages is percentage equivalents of fractions. So converting a percentage in terms of fractions and vice versa. So we know that 33.33 or 33 1 by 3, its equivalent fraction is 1/3. So if you will see 33.33 percentage, then it will be 1/3 of the value. Similarly, the fraction, or sorry, the percentage 66 2 by 3 percentage is nothing but 2 upon 3 in terms of fractions. So for bus P, out of total number of seats, which is 135, 66 2 by 3 percentage, that means 2/3 of the seats are filled. Now 2 by 3 of 135 is equal to 90. Okay, 2 by 3 of 135 is 90, 2/3 of 135 is 90. So 90 seats are filled and the remaining 135 minus 90, that is 45 seats will be vacant. Okay, so if you understand the fractional equivalent of percentages, then handling these questions, handling these calculations will become very easy for you. Okay, and that is what I teach in basic lectures of percentages. Okay, now similarly for the next bus Q, out of total 240 seats, 75% are filled and the rest will be vacant. So can you tell me both the numbers for bus Q? Daksh, have you understood, right? 90 and 45, पहले आंसर गलत दिया था. So do you understand the calculations, right? So 66 2 by 3, इसको मैं 2/3 कर सकता हूँ. So 2 by 3 of 135 will precisely be 90. Okay, all right, Daksh. And the other students have given a correct answer. Very good. Now for bus Q, 75% in terms of fractions is 3 by 4. Okay, so 3/4 of 240 seats. Look at the top of the screen. 3/4 of total number of seats, 240, will be 180. So out of 240, 180 are filled and the remaining 60 will be vacant. All right, fine. I hope I'm clear with each and everything that I have explained up till now. Now moving on to the next bus, can you write both the numbers? So bus R, out of 96 seats, 62 1 by 5 percentage is occupied, is filled. 62 1 by 2, 62 and a half. So 62.5 percentage can be written as 5 upon 8. Okay, so 5 by 8 of 96 seats are filled. So 5 by 8 of 96 will be 60. So out of 96, 60 seats are filled and the remaining 36 are vacant. Okay. So understand how easy these calculations will become if you understand the fractional equivalent of percentages. All right. Now moving ahead, talking about the remaining two buses. Okay, we need to use the extra data that is given at the bottom of the screen. So let's use that data. Statement A at the bottom of the screen says that the total number of vacant seats in all the 5 buses together is 226. So total number of vacant seats is 226. So what will be the number of vacant seats in the last 2 buses together? So S and T, if the total number of vacant seats is 226, I know the number of vacant seats in P, Q and R. So what will be the sum of the vacant seats in bus S and T? So 226 minus the 3 numbers. So 105, 141. 141 minus kar denge. So that will be 59 plus 26, right? So what will be this sum? What will be the number of vacant seats in these 2 buses together? Absolutely, Meghadri. So Meghadri, I believe you have joined late. So number of vacant seats in these 2 buses put together is 85. Okay. So bus S and bus T, 85 seats are vacant in total. So that was point A. Let's look at the second point at the bottom. The number of seats in bus S and T together were 345. Okay. So total number of seats in these buses, total number of seats together in these buses is 345. Okay, right? Am I clear? Now, only one person can sit on one seat. This is also given. So if I'll assume that the number of seats in bus S is X, so I can say that the number of seats in bus T will be 345 minus X. So total number of seats have been assumed, X and 345 minus X. Okay, this is the first step. Now, secondly, look at the number of seats which are filled. Now, if 70% of the seats are filled, then I can say that 30% will be vacant. Similarly, if 80% seats are filled, then 20% of the seats will be vacant in these 2 buses. So bus S has 30% of seats which are vacant out of the total seats, and bus T will have 20% of vacant seats. Okay. Now, if I'll make an equation of the total number of vacant seats in bus S and T. So S and T number of vacant seats. Look at the top right corner of your screen. Vacant seats for bus S and T. So in bus S, 30% of X is the number of vacant seats. And in T, 20% of 345 minus X is the number of vacant seats. Now together the number of vacant seats is 85 that we have already calculated here. Okay, so from here I can calculate the value of X. I can calculate the value of X. Sandeep has already done that. Okay, तो यहाँ से X की value निकाल लेते हैं. So 0.3x minus 0.2x is 0.1x, which will be equal to 85 minus 69. So the value of X comes out to be 85 minus 69 divided by 0.1. Okay, so the value of X comes out to be 160. Okay, right? So I can now say that the number of seats, the total number of seats in bus S में X की value कितनी है? 160. All right. And the number of seats, the total number of seats in bus T will be 345 minus 160. All right. So what is this number? What is this number? Anyone? 185. Okay. So I have calculated the total number of seats in these 2 buses, 160 and 185. Okay. Now, Muskan, you're saying that you did not get the calculation of X. Can you explain? Yes, Muskan, I'll quickly do that. So, Muskan, just keep on writing yes in the screen. So, I have assumed the value of X as the number of seats in bus S. So, bus S, the number of seats I have assumed as X. Since the total number of seats in buses S and T is 345, so number of seats in bus T will be 345 minus X. Okay, so X and 345 minus X is the total number of seats in these two buses. Now, in the first bus S, 30% of the seats are vacant. So, number of vacant seats, look at the right hand side now, number of vacant seats in this bus will be 30% of X. Similarly, for bus T, the number of vacant seats is 20% of 345 minus X. Okay, and the total number of vacant seats is equal to 85. So this is the equation I have made. Are you clear with this equation? Yes or no? Are you clear with the equation that is given on the right hand side? So Muskan, you are clear. Now Muskan, after that, it's just solving. Okay. So you can solve it step by step. I have done it in a single step. Okay. So now you can write 30% of X, 30 upon 100X, that is 0.3X. Then 20% of X minus हो जाएगा. So you can do step by step. I'm sorry, I cannot teach you calculations. ठीक है ना? ये तो बहुत basic सी equation है. इसको simplify करना है. Okay. So X का value 160 आ जाएगा. If you don't understand it after that, what you have to do is you just have to do these calculations step by step. एक एक करके करोगे, अपने आप आंसर आ जाएगा. All right, fine. So this is how you can get the value of X. X is 160. So number of seats in bus S will be 160 and number of seats in bus T will be 185. Okay. So now we can write the number of vacant seats and the number of filled seats in both the buses. So number of vacant seats in bus S, 30% of 160, that is 48. And bus T, 20% of 185, that is 37. Okay, so 48 and 37, already given by Sandeep, Daksh and Khushi. Very good. Keep up with the calculations, all three of you and the other students as well. So number of vacant seats are done. Number of filled seats in these buses. So 160 minus 48, that is 112. Okay. Right? 112. Okay. And 185 minus 37. 185 minus 37, it will be how much? Anyone? 185 minus 37? Anyone? 148. Okay, right? So can you please cross-check these values? All of you, give me yes or done in the chat box if you are clear with these calculations. Come on, quickly. All of you. And if my answers, if my values are correct, if these values are matching with your values, give me a yes. Perfect, great. So a lot of you have confirmed that your values are matching with these values. So now you can refer to this table and answer the questions that will follow. So first question on your screen, what is the average of the vacant seats of bus Q, R, and S together? So you have the table with you. Refer to the table and answer to these questions. So what is the average of the vacant seats of buses Q, R, and S together? Quickly, option A, B, C, D, or E. All right, so buses Q, R, and S together, the number of vacant seats. So I'll go back to the table. So Q, R, and S, the number of vacant seats are 60, 36, and 48. So 60 plus 36 plus 48. Since I have to calculate the average, I'll divide it by 3. Okay, so it is 180 8 plus 36, 144 divided by 3. All right. So the answer comes out to be 48. So I am getting the answer as 48. Some of you are saying that answer is none of these. Daksh, Meghadri, Khushi, Kasak. Why the answer is none of these? I believe the answer is 48. I'll go back. Q, R, and S, the number of vacant seats. So number of vacant seats in Q, R, and S, 60, 36, and 48. Okay? 60, 36, and 48. You just need to add these numbers, divide it by 3, and get an answer. Okay? Right? So I am getting 48 as the answer, which is yes, one of the options, option C. So Meghadri, Khushi, Kasak, and Daksh, are you clear? Okay. Yes, you must have done the calculation error. Okay. Let's move on to the next question, question number 2. Now, once again, for question number 2, you will have to refer this data. Okay. So if the number of vacant seats was distributed in a degree pie chart, then what would be the approximate central angle for bus P? Number of vacant seats. So you will have to make a pie chart for the number of vacant seats. And once this pie chart is done, in a pie chart, what we have a central angle. Okay. So the number of vacant seats of bus P, what will be the central angle for that? Come on, quickly give me an answer for this. Okay, again, no answer. So bus P, vacant number of seats. Okay, so first of all, I will look at the total number of vacant seats. Total number of vacant seats is 226. Okay, now out of these 226, the number of vacant seats in bus P is 45. So 45 out of 226, right? Now, look at the calculation, understand the calculations. So there can be two different ways in which you can find the final answer. Now, first of all, if you want to convert this in terms of angle, so multiply it by the total central angle, that is 360 degrees. Okay, so 45 divided by 226 multiplied by 360 degrees will become your final answer. Okay, right? This is one way of doing the calculation. Now look at the second way of doing the calculation. A second way is, first of all, I can convert it in approximate percentages. So 45 upon 226, इसको percentage में convert कर लेते हैं, ठीक है? Approximately. So look at the bottom, look at the denominator. Denominator का 10% कितना होगा? It will be 22.6. And if I multiply it by 2, that means 20% will be 45.2 percentage. Sorry, 45.2. I need 45. So can I say that this percentage will approximately be equal to 20 percentage? Do you agree with this? तो अगर मैं यहाँ पे percentage में convert करता हूँ, if I'll convert it into percentages, it will approximately be equal to 20 percentage, right? Okay. अब ये orally भी कर सकते थे हम, because we are more comfortable with this calculation rather than directly converting it into degrees, right? Now 20 percentage, now you can calculate 20 percentage of the total angle. 36 multiplied by 2, 72 will be the answer. 20 percentage of 360 10% is 36, 20% is 72. So option A, 72, will be the final answer of this question. Okay, so totally up to you. I have given you both the ways of doing the calculation. Now it's all up to you. Whichever way you want to go ahead, you can use that and find out the final answer. All right, clear? चलिए next question पे चलते हैं. So the correct answer of this question is option A. Let's move on to the next question, question number 3. What is the ratio of the number of seats in bus R and S together and the number of seats filled in bus Q respectively? Again, go back to the table, pick up the values and find out the answer. Read carefully between the lines. Do not miss any of the important words. They may talk about the total number of seats. They may talk about the number of seats which are filled. They may also talk about the number of seats which are vacant. So you will have to consider what actually they are talking about. Okay. So ratio of number of seats in bus R and S together. The ratio of the number of seats in bus R and S together. So that means for R and S, I will have to look at the total number of seats. Now going back, bus R has a total number of seats of 96 and S is 160. So 96 plus 160 is the first number. I have to calculate its ratio with the number of seats which are filled in bus Q. So bus Q number of seats which are filled according to the table is 180. So 180, right? So numerator is 256, denominator is 180. Simplify this and get the answer. I can see that I can cancel 4. So it will become 64 in the numerator and 45 in the denominator. So the final ratio is 64 is to 45. No other common factor can be cancelled. So now it's good to mark the answer. Option C matches. 64 is to 45. All of you have given a correct answer. Meghadri, Daksh, Sandeep, Khushi, Kasak and Shubhra. All right. So that was question number 3. Let's move on and look at question number 4. Now, question number 4 is slightly complex. So I told you that we are raising the level of difficulty as compared to the previous 2 sessions. Okay. So level of difficulty can be raised in the form of calculations as well as in the form of the complexity in which the question can be asked. So data यहाँ पे बहुत simple है. We have done all the hard work. We have calculated all the missing values. But even after that, they may increase the complexity in the data in this manner. Now, what I'll do for this question, I will remove the options. Okay? I will remove all the options and would like all of you to calculate the answer for this. मैंने options remove कर दिए. Okay? So let's not depend upon the options. I also feel that there is some problem with the options. Options में कुछ गड़बड़ है, ठीक है? So that is why I have removed the option. I'm not making the problem complex for you, ठीक है ना? Don't worry at all. Yes, any answer for this? Yes, guys, anyone? No? No answer? Let's have a look at it. Okay? Do not give up. Do not give up with this question. Now, in this question, they are talking about bus T. Now, bus T, total number of seats is 185. I'll write these numbers. So, total number of seats is 185, out of which 148, out of which 148 seats are filled and 37 are vacant. 148 are filled and 37 are vacant. Right? Now, first statement, they are talking about the number of seats which are occupied. So, out of 148 seats which are occupied, 25% of the seats were occupied by females. Okay? 25% of the seats are occupied by females and the remaining are occupied by males. Okay? Am I clear? So, what will be the number of seats occupied by females? 25% of the seats in bus T were occupied by females. Now, very important, 25% of the seats in bus T. Okay. Now, does it say 25%? Okay. So, Daksh, check karte hain, right? So, Daksh, 25% of the occupied seats in bus T या फिर 25% of the seats in bus T. What is the base here? 25% of what? 25% of the seats in bus T. So bus T में जितनी भी total seats हैं, उसका 25% are occupied by females. Am I clear? Yes or no, Daksh? Shubhra, Daksh. So 25% of the total number of seats in bus T were occupied by females. This is the meaning. It's not written that 25% of the occupied seats in bus T were occupied by females. Okay, right? So this 25%, you are calculating it on the number of occupied seats. That is, you are calculating 25% of 120, 148. But 25% of the seats in bus T has to be calculated. So 25% of 185. अब 185 का 25% तो कर नहीं सकते, right, Khushi? So Khushi, you have written 46.5, sorry, 46.25, which is not correct. Okay, so I will make a small correction in this question. So it should be 25% of the occupied seats in bus T. Okay, so it should be 25% of the occupied seats. 46.5 seats cannot be occupied, 46.25 seats cannot be occupied. Okay, so now we will calculate this 25% on 148. Okay, after this correction, right? Am I clear? Okay, so now so Daksh, the number that you have given earlier was correct because 25% of 185 cannot be calculated. Simple, right? So 25% of 148, how many females? It is 37 females. Then what will be the number of males? What will be the total number of males? 148 minus 37, that is 111. Okay. So number of females is 37 and the number of males is 111 out of the total number of people who are there in this bus. Okay. Now let's look at the further data. The number of seats occupied by females in bus T, which is 37, is equal to the number of seats occupied by males aging below 60. So now males will be divided in two parts, age less than 60. Okay. So the number of seats occupied by females in bus T, which is 37, is equal to the number of seats occupied by males aging below 60. So aging below 60, the number of males will be 37. All right. Am I clear? Now, total number of males and females aging above 60 is 40 more than the total number of males and females aging below 60. So, above 60, below 60. So, number of males and females aging above 60 is 40 more than the number of males and females aging below 60. So below 60, if it is X, then above 60, it will be X plus 40. And the sum of these two should be equal to the total number of males and females, right? So the sum of these two, 2X plus 40, is equal to 148, right? So the value of X will come out to be 54. X का value 54 आ गया. So number of people, number of males and females below 60 will be 54, and number of people above 60 will be the remaining, or I can say 54 plus 40, that is 94, right? Now below 60, number of males is 37, and below 60, the total number of people is 54. So I can say that females which are below 60 will be equal to total number of people who are below 60 minus number of males which are below 60, and this number comes out to be 70. Okay. Now let's see what actually they're asking. So they're asking what is the number of females aging below 60. So number of females aging below 60 will be equal to 17. So 17 should be the correct answer of this question. Sandeep and Krishi and Meghadri, all three of you have given a correct answer. Nice. Okay. So, I'm sorry for a small error in the question, but other than that, everything is fine. Okay. So we have done the calculation. All right. So that was question number 4. Let's look at the next question, question number 5. In bus R, the ratio of the adults and the children is 4:1, and children's ticket price was half of that of adult. If the total collection of the bus fare was 5,184, then what was the bus fare for each child? Come on, give me a quick answer. All right, Daksh, very good. Meghadri, nice. Chaliye, solve kare. So they're talking about bus R. Bus R, Total number of seats is 96 given. Number of seats filled is 60 and vacant is 36. So 60 and 36 filled and vacant number of seats respectively. They are saying that the ratio of the adults and children in bus R is 4:1. So out of total number of people who are there in bus 60, there are some adults and there are some children. So they are divided in the ratio 4:1. So if I divide 60 in the ratio 4:1, I'll get 48 and 12 respectively. 48 plus 12 is 60 and the ratio is 4:1. So there are 48 adults and 12 children in this bus. Cool? Done? Now, the ticket price for a child is half that of an adult. Okay, so let's say if ticket price for an adult is X, then ticket price for a child will be X upon 2. Okay, now total fare collected from adults will now become 48 multiplied by X, that is 48X. And total fare collected from children will be 12 multiplied by X by 2, that is 6X. So the total fare collected from all these people will be 48X plus 6X, that is 54X. And this total fare is given in the question as 5,184. Now, the value of X will become 5184 divided by 54. Okay. Do the calculation, get the value of X. Okay. So if I'll cancel out 27, 2592 and then 9 से cancel out करते हैं 2, 218, 779, 88 and then 96. Okay, so the value of X comes out to be 96. I hope all of you are getting the same value, right? So 96 is the value of X. So what was X? X was the fare of an adult, right? The question is, what was the bus fare for each child? For each child, the bus fare is half of X. So 96 upon 2, we have to calculate X upon 2. That will be 96 upon 2. And the final answer will be equal to 48. Okay, so the correct answer is option B. Done? Now the last question for this set. And I believe we'll not be able to start with the second set today. Okay, right? So we'll stop here after this. And then obviously, do not worry, you will not miss anything. I'll keep on continuing with these sessions. All right. So don't be worried. We'll cover the next set in the next class. So the number of vacant seats in bus P and R together is what percentage of the number of seats occupied in bus P? A quick answer will be appreciated. Come on, quickly. Wonderful, lovely. So number of vacant seats in bus P and R together. So number of vacant seats in bus P is 45 and R it is 36. So 45 plus 36, it is equal to 81. Is what percentage of the number of seats occupied in bus P? Occupied in bus P is 90. So they're asking 81 is what percentage of 90? Simple calculation. Okay, so 81 is how much? 90 percentage of 90. So the correct answer is option C. All right. So question number 6, answer option C is absolutely correct. All right, friends. So friends, that is all from my side for the day. Now, again, as usual, I'll wait for next few minutes, 1 or 2 minutes. In case you have any question, you have any doubt, please go ahead, post it in the chat box, and I'll be happy to answer any of the doubts that you have. So anyone, anything that you want to ask, please post it. If you have any feedback for these sessions, if you want me to conduct any particular topic or any particular series that you want, please suggest me. You can put your request and I'll be entertaining to all those requests in the upcoming sessions. Okay, so if you have anything to say, if you have anything to ask, if you have anything to suggest, please go ahead, don't feel shy. Just post your answer, post your query in the chat box, and I'll be answering to that. If you have nothing, then that's all from my side, my dear friends. Thank you very much for being a part of this session. Please do subscribe to our channel, like this session, comment, share the session with your friends and family, and do watching these sessions. Keep watching these sessions. Okay. And I will see you in my next session. Till then, all the best to all of you for your preparation. Bye bye.